Tara and Andy's film reviews on OurGamers.co.uk.
Are you ready for this review?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I felt once again a little bit awkward and like bad for you that you had to come see this film, because it is primarily for women, is it not?
Yeah.
Or maybe gay men as well.
Well, I don't know
as far as I know, you're not that. We went to go see 50 Shades Darker. I know, right? Finally, after 2 years, we get to see the sequel. It's classified 18. The director is James Foley, and I was like, he did not do the first, did he? And no, he didn't. But he is also doing the third. So that's in post-production at the moment. Yeah, so he's directed this one. And he's also directing the third one. So hopefully, knowing that, it should hopefully be quite a decent film.
Fingers crossed.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Okay, starring in this one, of course, we've got Dakota Johnson back as Anna. We've got Jamie Dornan as Mr. Grey himself. We also have a new addition. He is Eric Johnson, playing one of the new characters in this film. Genre is drama romance. Yes, I can't really complain about that because that is true. And the running time is just under 2 hours. It's 1 hour and 58 minutes. And I have to say, now knowing the running time, I did find it possibly slightly too long.
I have a note about that.
Ooh, all right, we'll get to that, I guess.
We'll get to the notes.
Okay, synopsis. While Christian wrestles with his inner demons, Anastasia must confront the anger and envy of the women who came before her. Oh, that is like the dreaded thing for any girlfriend, is like the exes. Oh, poor girl. And this is a bit more of a complicated relationship, so... yeah, I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, well, I guess it depends how you see it. Some people would happily be in those shoes. But story, let's get into that one before this gets too awkward.
Fair enough.
What do you want to say about story? Do you
One
want to be in those shoes? Sorry.
One of my earlier notes was curiouser and curiouser. It did make me curious. I was intrigued. A lot more than the first film.
Exactly.
It had some interesting moments where I was curious where it's going, where it was going. I wanted to know. I wanted to find out.
That's good.
Which is why I've got a note later on about a bit slow in places.
Oh right, yeah.
But yeah. So no, it did appeal to me that way a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just. You see, one of the things that I just want to get out there straight away. Yes, of course, 50 Shades, especially when the books first came out, it was all this hype about the one main thing about the books, which is obviously the sex and all the kinky stuff that goes on. Please bear in mind that it's not just all about that. That is obviously a big aspect about it. But what I kept trying to explain to people is that there's also quite a lot to do with the story and the background of the characters, which is really interesting and how it all unfolds. And people are like, you're only reading and watching all this stuff because of the one thing. And it's like, well, that's in there, but there is actually a lot more behind it all as well. So I just wanted to make that clear, which is also why I'm really excited for when the third film comes out. Because obviously, Andy, you don't know the stories at all. No,
it makes a change that something in the film so that's going to happen, not a spoiler.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know. It's very unusual to look away from you when you're talking about a film.
Yeah, it's normally the other way around. But that's why it's like, I can't wait for the third one, and hopefully they do a good job. I can't wait for the third one to come out, which I believe is next year. I think Valentine's 2018, yeah. Because then you finally, it will wrap it all up, and I cannot wait for you to see that as well and kind of get the full story behind all the characters, because there's so much more involved. But the notes I've got about story, obviously the first film wasn't portrayed the best way, I think. I think the adaptation from the book was a bit tricky for them, and it was the first film they did.
The first one's story didn't appeal to me too much either. It
just didn't. I can kind of see, because I watched it again and I was like, I can kind of see why it maybe didn't go down too well. A lot of the stuff came across a little bit, I don't know, cheesy or cheap. It didn't come across that great. But the book, obviously, better. But yeah, I can kind of see what people were talking about. That's why I was really hoping. I didn't have high hopes coming into the second film, but it actually did a lot better than I expected, and it definitely did better than the first.
Yes.
It came across better. I think maybe they learnt from the first one. It was definitely more enjoyable than the first one. It wasn't as awkward and cheesy. They did have a couple moments where it was a little bit cheesy, and you kind of think, how would they have gotten that across better or differently. I don't know if it's in the writing, if it's in the script, if it's in the acting. I personally don't know. All I know is that can kind of come across maybe a little bit cheesy again, but that's just how it's done. So deal with it. Bit classier. I thought it was a bit classy, especially the sex scenes. I think they were a lot more tasteful in this film than the first one. It could also be the evolution in the relationship between the two main characters. Obviously, things are a lot different now compared to the first film. But I don't know. I just thought that it was done better than the first. So
no, I agree. I've got similar notes.
Yeah. What have you got?
Regarding story, I was going to say there are two sort of plot lines to follow as well.
Yeah.
They're kind of diverted from one time to time to go and see the other one. That may have been one of the reasons why it was quite interesting, because it gave you some story, it went away from it, and you had waited for it to go back, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's certain parts of it that I think were delayed and were a bit sort of
dragged out a bit. Yeah.
So I did make a note dragging on a bit. I made a note saying when we're going to go back to that plot, and then we pretty much did, just as I made the note.
Yeah,
the next
you get
scene was back.
Little bits of it at the start, and then you kind of have to forget about that because they do go down a different route, and then suddenly it all comes together again, doesn't it? So I have actually a note about this saying the story is more involved, and then I've written down just ask Andy, because I could tell that you were enjoying the story a lot more in this one.
Oh, good.
So I'm glad. So it's like it is a little bit awkward, obviously, to go see a film like that. I remember the first film we went to go see, and I think I had the same brown chicken, brown cow. But I think I remember saying the same thing in that review, that it was just like, I had to drag you along and we had to go see this film, and now we've got to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm old enough, I've seen boobs before.
I can't believe you just said that.
Why
if my parents listen to this?
At this age, it'd be a bit worrying if I hadn't seen boobs. I'm past my prime.
Obviously, as you mentioned, I wrote a note here as well. A lot to keep track of, various situations and storylines. Oh, I've got this note. Wow, that made everyone jump, even Andy.
I have a note about that as well.
That was the first time you jumped.
There was a moment that did wake everyone up in the audience. Everyone sort of
jolted.
flinched and reacted. I think because we're in the Impact studio, Cinema screen. It was,
which I think is called Super 2D in the
now called Super 2D.
Yeah, I think it's Super 2D.
The sound was amazing. The way it just went from like a quiet scene to a bit of noise, and then
but you just didn't expect it. You knew the situation had gotten a bit serious, but you didn't expect that to happen then, and that it just made everyone jump. So that definitely woke everyone up, didn't it?
Yes. 2 more notes about the story.
Go for it.
People did laugh. Audience goers did laugh. Cinema viewers, not just Tara, did giggle occasionally throughout the film, or a little bit throughout the film. There were a little bit of funny moments. Yeah. Also, the plot towards the end did change somewhat out of nowhere in my eyes. It's like, are they going to go on for a third type of story bit here? And then it wrapped up that bit, but it just seemed out of the blue. A whole nother situation arose. Yeah. But that's why I can't wait for you to see the third, because it will wrap it up quite nicely, I think. And this is what's really nice. It did get a lot more serious. In the first one, it was just all the weird sex, and this billionaire out of nowhere takes this sort of student, and teaches her all these things, and it's like, what? Like, as if. And then here, you actually get to learn more about Christian Grey's background and more of an idea. Because in the first film, he says, I'm 50 Shades of effed up. Okay, we'll just take it as it is. And not a lot is really explained, whereas here you start getting flashbacks of his childhood, and you can now kind of grasp, oh, okay, so this is why he behaves this way. I mean, it's still not really justified. Yeah, you got a little bit in the first, but it definitely shows a lot more in this one. Yeah, and you do feel a bit, sorry for him. But I think that's all I've got for story. So well done, because actually they have done a lot better than the first. That's all I want to say. Cast and characters, what have you got? The progression between the films was nice to see. They weren't dragging it on at the beginning of this film, showing you how the characters are developing. It's just like, this is them now, this is what's changed. Yeah. It's a good way of doing it. Yeah, exactly. You didn't need them more than that, did you? No. Also, while we're talking about characters and cast, emotion was great from all the cast. Yeah. Except one. Yeah, no, I've got a note, and I'm going to get... She's actually at the bottom of my list right now. Yeah, go on then, you carry on. So, we'll build up to that. So, cast and characters, I've just got more, and it's more depthy. Dakota again plays Anna absolutely brilliantly. I mean, she got me teary. She can just...
that specific character was just, in my eyes, made for her. She plays it perfectly. She's this almost a plain Jane. She's slightly pretty, not exceptionally beautiful, but she's pretty in her own way. And, you know, and the emotions that she has to get across, I think she does really well. So I'm absolutely happy with the casting on that side. I did think, in my eyes, that maybe Jamie wasn't the best fit for Christian Grey, but then those are really big shoes to fill, because everyone who's read the books have got their own sort of who they would want play that character, and I have to admit that I wouldn't know who to cast for it, but at the same time I felt like he kind of struggled in the first film. However, he does a lot better in this film. The acting is a lot better, there's more emotion behind it all. However, his accent still decides to kind of fall through here and there, so you still get a bit of American, bit of Irish, bit of I don't even know what I'm trying to do right now, but I'm just going to go with the flow. So that's the only thing that slightly bugs me, because it was so apparent in the first film, and I was like, he's had a few years since then, hopefully he's had a bit of, you know, voice training and coaching, and hopefully he can do better. He does do better, but every now and again you can kind of hear it slip. Which is a bit of a shame. And the person we're building up to. So yeah, everyone does brilliantly. The emotions come across so great. There's this big scene, right, where everyone's like on edge and crying and, you know, waiting for relief or whatever. And you got this one character who is just not getting into it. And you think, like, okay, it's Rita. Basically, it's Rita. I'm sorry. Rita, amazing singer. You can be a presenter, singer, whatever. But maybe she can do comedy, but she definitely can't do drama. Like, she just can't do it. Everyone was so into it and proper crying, and she just sat there, and there was like nothing, absolutely nothing. And it really bothered me, because it's like, you should be bawling it right now. This is your brother or adopted brother or whatever, like, you know, in the story, and everyone's concerned apart from you. So, well, she was supposed to be, but it didn't come across. So that's something that really bothered. And like, there were some other scenes that she was in as well, and it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's the wrong casting or if it's just a really odd character. She didn't really seem needed. The character doesn't really seem, do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird character to have. I know she's in the books.
No, I agree. I had the same sort of
but like, I feel like she really struggled. Yeah. Like, it just, any scene with her just didn't fit, and it didn't feel genuine. So that's my only thing. I'm really sorry, Rita. I love you loads as a singer and an artist in that way, but in this film I'm not a massive fan, so I am really sorry. But that is all I have to say about that one.
Paper Rustles.
So it's a whole page of that. Okay, music and soundtrack. Ooh, what have you got to say?
I made notes early on about the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It was good from the start.
Same.
It might have been because we were in the screen.
With the sound.
But, it was all fitting. It was all. Mm-hmm. It was all enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great soundtrack.
Can't complain.
The first film had a really decent soundtrack as well, and they had a lot of songs that were kind of covers or remixed of originals that worked. I mean, who can forget that Beyonce song? And the way they redid it.
God, what a song.
And it had like this whole other power and meaning behind it. So, and I absolutely loved that. And in this film, again, they have brilliant song choices. I think they have a few covers in this as well that are slightly adapted for the film, which fit perfectly. But I love the soundtrack. And like you said, being in the screen that we were in, you could, I like the noise and the bass and the everything, like it, especially when you got to the really hot and steamy scenes, like it was perfect. It was spot on, and a thoroughly enjoyable soundtrack. So that's all I can say about that one. Anything else?
Nope.
No. Locations and shots, what have you got?
Impressive.
Same.
Yeah, the locations they had like they had big houses, they had huge sort of penthouse apartment type things, they had
indoor outdoor everywhere,
they
in
had
between
yachts and stuff like that. The locations,
it was just everywhere, wasn't it?
It's a side of life that you have to have the money to see.
Oh yeah,
so it was really nice seeing that sort of stuff.
And you expect it to be it has to have that certain sort of look. And it was, I wrote here, just lavish looking locations. I mean, you know, some of them were really stunning. Some of them were really beautiful looking backgrounds and backdrops.
They're all believable. If you had that sort of money, they're the sort of places you'd probably have.
Just expensive.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's all I've got about that one. Just that it's not a lot of notes on it, but I thought it really had to be put in there because, you know, some of the shots were really, really, just really pretty. I really liked them. Yep. So, Randoms. Do you have any randoms?
Yeah, they had loads of extras, and the costume party had some nice costumes in.
I love that.
I left that then because you mentioned it elsewhere.
Oh no, I forgot. Yeah, I love that with the masquerade ball. Yes. I love a masquerade ball anyway. Just any excuse. Anyone got a masquerade ball? Please invite me because I just absolutely freaking love them. I love them. I would have one pretty much every day if I could. But anyway,
is that just so I have to wear a mask? You don't have to see my face.
No. I don't know. There's something about them. I just like the Venetian masks. Like I love them. I absolutely love them.
You own loads.
I know. That's why I need like a party every day so I can use them. But anyway, so my random is just poor Andy. Lol. That was it. Just there was sometimes I sat there and I'm like, I've dragged him to go see this. I have made him come here to watch this.
In your defence, I did turn around and say, I'm actually curious now. I will look forward to seeing the third to wrap it up.
Yes. That made me feel a lot better.
You don't have to feel bad about it.
No, I don't feel too bad.
I'm a grown man. I can say no if I want.
I just don't accept it.
Also, my note was my random note was actually definitely better than the first.
Yeah, I think this a lot more. If we had to wrap it up in a sentence, it's just way better than the first. That is what's really coming across with all of our categories.
I'm not sure if that's a hard thing to.
Normally series are rubbish, aren't they? Or like sequels are rubbish.
No, well, yeah, normally they are. But the first film wasn't great, so saying this is better than it may not be giving it the praise it deserves. But it is definitely better than the first.
Oh yeah. And on that, I think it's the rate. Okay, so I'm actually going to give it a 7 because you know what? I think it deserves that because it wasn't stupidly rubbish and all of that. And I think, to be honest, you see, I just want to say I'm pleased with it. I went in after having seen the first and it was like, especially having read the books. And I walked out and I was like, do you know what? I'm pleased with that. So for that, I'm going to give it a 7. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you too.
I was going to say I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
It's definitely not, but it's not a bad drama.
Yeah.
Not a bad romance.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you see, I can't wait for the third. Oh, there is a little teaser, by the way. There's like a mid-credit teaser for the third film, which got me so excited. I was like, So, and then I was like slapping Andy like, wait till you see the third. Because obviously I know what's going to happen, but he hasn't got a clue. So, but
I might read the book now just to spoil it for myself.
Don't read it, don't. The rating it has gotten is a 4.9. I haven't read any of the reviews, to be quite honest. I haven't gotten around to it, but I've got a funny feeling, some of the reviews that are on there can be like pretty harsh from people that just shouldn't even be on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I can't speak for everyone, but obviously I'm thinking for the target audience that it's for, I think they'll be quite pleased with it.
Yes,
so,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. And thanks again, Andy.
Thank you for having me. I shall see you next time.
Until
whenever
next time.
Whenever that will be.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Cineworld Festival Leisure Park Basildon for the best experience around.